here today with the Hogan Simpson Group. This is a fantastic real estate group. Pamela Hogan and Derek Simpson, and they specialize in luxury condominiums. I mean, I don't know anybody that's more qualified to do what you guys do. I mean, I make phone calls and ask you guys questions all the time about condos, so it's awesome to have this resource here, and appreciate having you guys here today.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me. This is quite the place here. Guys, this is one of your new listings that you put on the market and sold. You broke some records with this one.
Yeah, we're pretty excited about this one. When it went on the market, 7 days, around $1.5 million, already pending. We're pretty excited.
Wow. Being a group, you're able to cover so much more ground. And a lot of your clients, it seems, that are looking to buy and sell condominiums, they may be, either getting out of a very large home and somewhat downsizing, or sometimes upgrading, and you've got the experience to help them with all of that. And we'll get into more of that a little bit further on, but I'm curious, okay, because our listeners and people want to know about you guys. Who is the Hogan Simpson Group?
Well, Derek and I met 5-ish years ago, I think, in the building where he lives and where I was working.
Correct.
The residence is Providence, and we just had like this instant connection, and I loved seeing everything he was doing because he was doing a lot of, buying and renovating and flipping. And I was, selling those for him. We've done a lot of deals together in that regard. And then Derek decided to get his license.
Right.
And then just sort of the natural, organic
progression
next step, right? Yeah, it just kind of worked out that we were like, you know what, this is something we could collaborate on and build from.
We're both so enthusiastic about the building and about condos in general. We know a lot of the same people, but we also have, being different ages, we can kind of connect with different buyers at different stages of life.
Yeah, to throw the age in there.
She might be younger, I don't know, just...
No, he has a good point, though. I mean, literally, I'm almost to the day 20 years older than him, and I'm not ashamed to admit that.
She doesn't look it.
I know. I just love that, like, even though we are 20 years apart, like, we just have such a cool connection.
Absolutely.
And he's right. We bring different things to the table, like, and not just as in terms of our sphere, but in terms of, maybe I have a little more experience, but
Correct.
He has, like, a different look on things from that fresh, young perspective.
Right.
Design kind of perspective.
Yeah, for sure.
And I can bounce all my questions off of Pam. She has an answer for everything. Just this past weekend, I was like, what? Okay, you got it. And yeah, so we work well together, and it helps to have someone, as experienced as Pam in my court.
Well, thank
It's
you.
fantastic. I agree. It's both ways. It's mutually beneficial.
For sure.
A good marriage.
So, Pam, so you worked at the development. You worked for the developer.
Correct.
And there's, 116 units in the residences?
There's technically 98 right now. Over the years, several have been combined. In fact, Derek had combined one of those himself. He purchased 2, made it one huge, almost 2,400 square foot condo. It's like a large ranch home in the sky.
Right.
Impressive. And when people think Providence, they don't necessarily think, or Rhode Island, they don't necessarily think high-end condominiums right off the rip. But we have quite an assortment of it throughout the state, from Portsmouth, Westerly, Narragansett,
100%. Yeah.
even some in Jamestown, and you guys linking up together. That's really what you're gunning for, right?
These hidden gems that people don't necessarily know about. You might have seen the building, driving by on the highway, but you don't know what to expect from the inside. And, it's pretty cool to bring people in and say, wow, this really exists in Providence, or, in terms of the Carnegie Tower, this is in Rhode Island. I had no idea that you could.
Like you're in a different state.
Yeah, it's really cool.
But it's nice too that, you touched on people who have a huge home, maybe looking to downsize and simplify, or, maybe they're looking for that city life sort of experience. And, so they might leave the country to go for that, or vice versa. Maybe they've been in the city and they want to live in a beautiful home like this. And, we can service all aspects of that, which is kind of cool, and find the right fit for it.
Do you got second people looking to buy their second homes or vacation homes or anything like that, as far as condo owners?
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Yeah, they travel for business. They might have a unit here in the city, or they might have a unit somewhere in Rhode Island for that?
Yeah,
100%.
definitely. We see a lot of that as well. I
Yeah.
mean, some people are only in the city for like the work week and then they go home to their family
Right.
on the weekends, or you know, they have a second home, or maybe their main home is, you know, down in Florida and the one in Providence is there.
Now, where do you see a lot of these transplants, or these people, not transplants, secondary home buyers? Where are they coming in from? What places would you say would be the top three that people are coming in from?
Definitely like the Naples area. We see
Absolutely,
a lot
in Florida, yep.
Yeah, for sure.
And then, you know, people from around Boston that may not want to pay the Boston prices come to Providence. They may think, you know, you can get all this for a much less expensive price per square foot and still enjoy, you know, everything that Boston has to offer 45 minutes away. So,
Yeah, just jump on the train. Yeah.
right. A lot of Massachusetts buyers.
We get a lot from New York too. A lot of people sort of migrating this way, you know, maybe for work or whatever the case may be. But,
Sure, yeah.
Correct.
With the Boston, that's interesting, right? With the Boston buyers that are coming here, this would be somebody that's maybe full-time that's looking to actually relocate to Rhode Island and commute to Boston. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so that buyer might be more focused in somewhere like Providence, because they can
Correct.
right on the train
Exactly.
or on 95. And what is the difference that you're seeing between square foot pricing? Are we looking at like pretty much half price over here, or is it?
I mean, it's pretty significant.
It's significant. I think it depends on, you know, the building in Providence and the buildings up in Boston. I know that, you know, one Dalton, the new Four Seasons in Boston, is, you know, thousands of square foot, whereas, you know, we're looking at, you know, maybe $500 to $800 a square foot, depending on the amenities.
Difference.
Yeah,
Massive
for sure.
difference.
Yeah.
And you know what's nice too? I think that people are always surprised that at, you know, for example, the downtown condos, someone who's buying a one-bedroom condo for $350 maybe, they're getting the same services as someone who lives in a penthouse who paid, you know, $2 million for it or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's really kind of special that they can have all of that awesome, you know, lifestyle
Correct.
that a person who owns a penthouse can have, you know, and yet they're paying, you know, a fraction of the price.
Correct.
But the amenities and everything, that's what draws a lot of the people in.
Second to none. I mean, I'm a huge fan of the residences. So let's talk about the Carnegie Tower. So different type of buyer going to the tower. Do you find it's people maybe looking more to retire, or what's the key demographic hitting that tower?
Yeah, so the sellers of this home they bought 2 units down at the Carnegie Tower. One in December, one just a few weeks ago with us, which is pretty cool. They're golfers. It's kind of like a haven. It's very Florida-esque in the way that it's set up. Once you go in, it's a gated community. You get in there, you can have your golf cart. There's golf cart parking, so once you're in there, you don't have to get in your car. So you use your golf cart, you go down to the marina, you go down to the golf course. It's all right there. It's pretty cool.
That's
Yeah, it
fantastic.
feels very much like you're on vacation. You know, I think
It really does.
a lot of people this summer will be coming to check those out as well.
Absolutely.
I think it's a lot of, you know, like a good escape for people. I mean, certainly a year-round home as well, but it has that vacation vibe for sure.
Sure does. And that's
Right.
located at Aquidneck Island, which some people may not know is actually, so it's the state of Rhode Island and Providence Plantation. So the state of Rhode Island is Aquidneck Island. Like,
There's like, how many islands in Rhode Island? 35 or something?
Quite a few, yeah.
but Aquidneck Island, Newport, Middletown, and Portsmouth is the Rhode Island, which is pretty funny. And
Yeah.
I mean, so much history on that part of the state. The Carnegie Tower is absolutely beautiful
Oh,
as well
stunning.
too. How many units are in that?
I think that there's 76.
Okay.
So the tower went through a rough patch. You know, a lot of it was turned over to a bank. So over the last 2 years, I think the sales have been on a slow progression up, and then the last maybe 6 months, it's been like absolutely crazy. I think it's been on fire. I mean, you know, I think there's 5 units pending at the moment, and you know, tons of activity, which is really great.
Yeah, I remember a point in time where they couldn't give the condos away. I mean, it was just a whole different
It's
story.
nice to see them thriving now.
Yeah.
It really is. And the golf club down there, I think that they have the Aquidneck Club, member owned and right on the water. Great amenities, and I believe that there's only a few memberships left. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
Wow. So seeing as Rhode Island is a destination, spot, a lot of people come here to vacation, a lot of people come here to get married, people end up coming here and staying here, they fall in love with it. What other places aside from Portsmouth and Providence do you think will draw people in that kind of want the seaside type of community?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of people who are looking for something, near the water. I think after COVID, a lot of people were rethinking their lifestyle. They want to be able to enjoy something, that feels more vacation-like, and so they are flocking to the coast. And we're seeing a lot of that throughout those seaside communities.
Absolutely.
Narragansett, Jamestown, Westerly, all of those beautiful areas in southern Rhode Island.
And they still offer quite a value in terms of, comparison to the Hamptons or, some of the other areas. The Cape, I think Rhode Island has a great value. I think that the price per square foot in Rhode Island on the water, it's just as nice, and I think it's much less than some of the other typical areas, Cape Cod or the Hamptons.
Agreed. It's like the best kept secret around.
You could get a condo out in Cape Cod at, like, say, call it Provincetown, and we just sent a referral up to our office, Engel Völkers, out that way, and 500 square feet, you're looking at $800,000-$900,000 easy for a condo, like right on the water. So over here in Rhode Island, I agree, you do get more bang for your buck.
Mm-hmm.
And our food here is literally second to none.
We were talking about that
Absolutely.
recently. Like,
Yeah.
if you're a foodie, oh my gosh, Rhode Island, so many options for you.
Federal Hill and Providence, downtown Providence, we have everything.
So Pam, you and I met a long time, several years back, and I can't remember if it was at a networking event or at the tower or wherever it was, but immediately I was like, wow, this lady, she knows her stuff. She's really great at what she does.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You actually come from, your family was all in real estate. I mean, your parents were brokers.
Yes.
We're in Vermont, right? Where you grew up?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Can you give us a little bit of a background about you, about how you started in real estate, what made you want to get into real estate, and maybe some significant things that have happened to you in your career?
Yeah, for sure. So I was on kind of my own path for a while, even though my parents had been trying to get me into real estate since I can remember. I mean, literally, when I was 18, they were trying to push me into getting my, license, but I just wasn't feeling it, I guess, at the time. Maybe because I was like, that's what my parents do. I'm going to rebel against them. Like, I don't know what I was thinking. I just didn't think it was for me. I worked for attorneys over the course of probably 20 years. I ended up not going to college because I didn't know what I wanted to study. And I was like, I'll take a year off. And that turned into me getting sort of an on-the-job education for a law firm where I literally was in every department possible. So I saw a lot of, the different sides of the law, and I learned so much from that. And one of them was real estate. So I learned it from that side of the transaction. And I saw a lot of it from what my parents did on the selling side of the transaction. And I don't know, over years, I kind of just kept evolving, but wasn't like finding whatever. I was like, nothing was exciting me. I'm a Sagittarius. We're never satisfied. And like, I just kept trying different things. And I'm like, no, all right, I mastered that. I'm bored. What can I learn next? And then my dad was like whispering all the time, real estate, like, just try it. I finally listened to him. And I honestly kick myself that I didn't listen sooner, because I love the fact that every day is different. Mm-hmm. You're never not learning. Like, there's always something you can, sink your teeth into. And it feeds me that, insatiable appetite for just constantly growing. And it's been a great ride. So it's been about 8 years now. And I started out selling in the coastal community of Rhode Island, which I absolutely love. Kind of a waterfront geek, and I would love diving into, learning all about flood insurance and all the things that go along with that. And then I got recruited to go and sell the condos and handle the leasing for the developer downtown at the residences. Mm-hmm. Did that, worked on site for 4 years, and as I mentioned, that's where Derek and I met.
That's right.
And then you kind of like you said, entered my life at some point, and we really clicked along the way there. And then when COVID changed things as far as my position at the tower, I joined your team, which has been amazing. And but then things sort of evolved very naturally, where Derek and I decided to start our own from there. So I kind of spun off from the amazing DiSpirito team, but I'm so happy to be under the same like umbrella as all of you,
Absolutely.
and be able to work with you all still.
Yeah, no, we're really excited at Engel Völkers, and I think it's really great to have such a highly specialized team, and that's kind of one of the things that makes our brokerage a bit different, and that's something that you guys get to bring to the table, which is fantastic. It only benefits the consumers, you guys, and everybody else. So Pam, it's funny because I think you said, you wanted to jump into real estate sooner, but think about how much more you know now with that legal background.
Yeah, that saved me.
You're
That
a
actually
whiz.
helped me so much, because I know so many people who are always afraid of that part of like a transaction, all the paperwork and all, talking to attorneys even. Some realtors are not comfortable with that. And the joke was always at every law firm that I ever worked at, the joke was always that the attorneys worked for me, because I would just keep things in order, and I'm like, no, this is where you need to go, you sign here, do this, do that, whatever. Like I had the whole thing like down, and so the joke was always they work for me. So like I don't have a problem calling attorneys, and like maybe a brand new realtor, they're like, I have to call an attorney. Like it's not a big deal for me. But yeah, I learned so much from those years, and I definitely I appreciate them, and it helped me evolve to where I am right now.
You can't put a price on that experience.
No, that was my college, basically. It's kind of how I look at it,
School of hard knocks,
Right.
definitely. Yeah. We know you get more training on job, hands-on, than you will in any school. It just is what it is. You learn so much more in a year of real estate than you would at any 4-year, 8-year school, I think. Awesome.
Yeah, I one of the women who worked at that law firm, she was my mentor for many years, and she was harder than probably any professor I would have ever had. She was very tough on me, and I love her for it and thank her for it. And I was filing Supreme Court briefs at the age of 18. Like,
wow.
what?
Really cool.
So you got the law behind you, and then you worked for the developer. Now that's really impressive to me, because purchasing and selling a condo is completely different than purchasing and selling a single family home. There's so many different nuances and different even negotiating points and contractual points and different parts of the process than a single family home. So, sometimes you see people kind of get lost in that or leave some things off of the table. I mean, you have assessments,
Right.
you have you have working capital deposits, you've got a slew of other things, the homeowners association, like everything that goes with that, different insurance, different mortgages that will and won't cover the condo units, depending if they're warrantable or non-warrantable. I mean, it's a whole nother language.
Agreed.
Right. So I think that working for the developer really gives you such a niche, such a huge pack of punch of power.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, that was a blessing to have that almost on-the-job training again with that, and helped me get to the point where I felt like condos was my thing. Like I wanted that to be, kind of my niche market, and that was great on-the-job training, if you will. I had only sold maybe 2 condos prior to then, and so it's been a good learning experience.
Let's jump over to Derek Simpson. So Derek,
Yes.
The man that came out of nowhere is just lighting the real estate world on fire. I mean, I know you've been doing that. You're very experienced in real estate, but you're coming at real estate from a whole different angle, which is super impressive and dynamic about your team.
Yep.
Can you explain a little bit about your experience in real estate?
So I've loved real estate forever. I mean, there's not a time that I can remember that I wasn't looking at Realtor.com and bugging my mom to go to open houses, and and then in college, during the summers, I worked for John R. Wood in Naples, Florida as an intern, which I just thought was the coolest thing ever, because we had vacationed down there as a family for a long time. I always knew that company as, the luxury brokerage, and to be able to go to these beautiful homes, and it was exactly what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. So after college, I joined my family's manufacturing company, and then, slowly over time, got more and more into the real estate. And like we spoke about before, I met Pam at the building and instantly connected with her. And, it was a great transition. And also, I live downtown. I've done approximately, I think, 8 flips downtown.
In that building, in the residences?
So I started way back in 2012. I bought my first unit at Water Place.
Okay.
That unit I didn't do very much to, and all of a sudden I thought, could I make some money on this? Put it on the market, let's see what happens. And it sold in like a week. And the buyers liked what I had done. The little that I had done, they thought, he's pretty good at this. He can do the drapery, he can do the paint. It stuck out from all the other developer-owned condos there because it was personalized. So I sold that. I bought a bigger one. I bought a 3-bedroom on the 17th floor. So I went from the 5th floor to the 17th floor.
Love it.
I think that was...
Hacking.
That's right. And I think that was in 2014 was when I bought the second one. When I bought the second one, I actually bought a third one at the same time. And I redid the third one totally.
Yeah.
I learned a lot about what you can and cannot do in the condos in terms of building permits and moving walls and problems with HVAC. And, I got into the nitty-gritty in that third one. I've progressed since then. So long story short, I sold those 2 and I moved over to the residences, which is where I met Pam. I started out on the 21st floor.
And when you sold out, by the way, we were pushing the price per square foot limit and came really close to selling it at list price. I mean, no one was like, everyone's like, no, you're never gonna. And we did. We got a great price on that, and it's one of the most beautiful units to this day in that building.
Thank you.
Everyone who has ever walked through it is just obsessed with his style. He has the greatest design eye. And they're like, when's Derek gonna do another one?
Not to interrupt you, but
Yeah.
the fascinating thing was the first unit that you sold in 2012 was the bottom of the market.
Right.
And you were able to sell when that was a pure buyer's market, completely different than it is today. There was probably half of the building was available then.
Right.
And you were able to sell that, what did you say, under a week?
It was, so the cool thing was the developer at Water Place, like you said, they still owned a lot of units.
Yeah.
It just stuck out from the pack because of the finishes. I didn't do any kind of a major remodel on that at all, but I did, I did the wallpaper, I did some paint, I did some tile work, but when you walked in, it felt different than all the other. Yes. And, when you go into the developer units, it may just be an empty unit. Nothing's been done. And I thought, maybe there's something to this.
Well, I think a lot of people have a hard time visualizing. If it's not already done for them, they may not have that ability to create it not only in their own minds, but to transform it live, in the space.
Right.
And when they see what he's already done, they get it. They're like, oh, this is what's possible, and I don't have to do a thing. It's already done for me. And they'd rather pay for the fact that someone else has already done it because they can't wrap their heads around it.
And it's not always easy to do the work in the building. You have to have the particular contractors that have enough insurance. You have to work within the building permits, and you have to figure out when they can work. The loading dock, the elevators, what can be brought up in the elevators, what cannot be. Molding has to be cut in half. I mean, there's just a lot that goes into it that I've kind of learned over the years. To say that I've kind of encountered almost everything is, probably not far from the truth. The good and the bad.
Right.
And
that's experience, though. They can't put a price on.
right. So after the 21st floor, which Pam sold as my agent, we got, like we said, we got a price that no one really thought we could. And, the buyers were happy, I was happy, the building was happy. I went up to the 27th floor, and that one, we got even more money for that sale, which I still think is one of the highest price per square foot ever in that building.
Penthouse, 27th?
So, no, not even. 20.
Penthouse will start on 29.
Correct. So 27, so 1,416 square feet, and I sold it for $1,000,001, which was really quite a feat at that time. Then I moved down to the 16th floor. I did a 1-bedroom, which Pam sold for me, and we got another fantastic.
Yeah.
Again, people said, you're not going to get that for a 1-bedroom. And we did, and it was quick. Then I bought 2 units and combined them. I sold that at the depths of the COVID crisis.
Literally.
August of 2020. The city was, it was dead.
Desolate.
And cash buyer, it was a great price and happy. From there, I bought Pam's listing on the 25th floor, and that's my current project.
And that's coming soon.
And that's coming soon.
So tell me a little bit about this unit on the 25th floor. What is it?
It might be his most special one yet. I don't know. They just keep getting better. Like,
I do.
keep joking with them saying, you only have about 90 to go. You'll have the whole building done. Like,
That one was, I remember it was gorgeous, and I was
Right,
like, what does he have to even do in here? I
Right.
can't wait to see the finished project.
It actually feels like you're walking into a different unit. He moved
Wow.
like walls a little bit even in this one. But you're right. I mean, it was great to begin with. And then he puts his spin on it, and it's, it's really spectacular.
I really wanted something that was my own. I always kind of try and stay a little bit neutral. This one I said, you know what, I'm gonna make this my own home. And not that I'm gonna live there for a long time, because that's not in my blood, but
You don't do that.
I don't do that.
Sagittarius too.
That's right. I'm
Wow.
never, our birthdays are almost the same,
Yep.
just pretty
Like
cool.
2 days apart.
Yeah. So so I did everything that I wanted to do. If I was going to live there, what would I want? Well, I'd want a coffee machine built in. I'd want one of those cool dishwashers that's the knock to open. I'd want a wine fridge. Everything that I wanted, I did. And it's the perfect home for me. And I think that it's the perfect home for other people as well. It's not just a unit in the building. It's a home.
And it's way more, yeah, right. It's way more than a crash pad. Like, this is definitely like home is the perfect word for it.
I'm
This
already
is
sold.
right.
Right?
I love the way you explain that.
It's so beautiful.
I want a dishwasher. I can knock on it.
So cool.
Wow.
And I thought about it, you get a little bit better as you go on.
Yeah.
Every time you do a project, you get a little bit better. You get more familiar with the layouts. You get more familiar with Alan at the residences. He was able to say, look, you can take this wall out. You can't take this wall out. There's dead space here.
Is he the super?
Yes,
Okay.
and he worked with me at the beginning to really massage the floor plan, get it right. And
Yeah, they were finding areas that literally is just dead space in the wall, maybe only a few feet, but like behind a heat pump or
Matters.
something. But
It matters.
he opened it up and he
Yeah.
put shelving there or something. It's just like this eye-catching, with lighting and glass and then crystals and oh my gosh, like it knocks your
I
socks
can't
off.
wait
Like,
to see
yeah,
that unit.
we're excited about the new listing for sure.
beautiful.
And one of the things, there's a lot of people that are interested in flipping and doing stuff like that. So you guys now can offer this really great service, and not that you're going to go in and design the whole place, that's a whole different thing, but you can offer some insights onto what works, what doesn't work, what's going to give them the biggest bang for their buck when
Right.
selling. Even if it's someone that's just simply putting their unit on and says, look, should I change the paint colors in here? That stuff goes a long, long, long way. So
Absolutely.
that's fantastic.
Yeah, we've heard so many other people in the building ask, why isn't he doing this as a business? He should be designing these units. Like, that should be his full-time business. Why is he not in that industry?
Right.
But it's a hobby for him. But at the same time, a lucrative one, right? And
I love
And
doing
love
it.
it.
Yeah. And I love showing people what I've done. I like when people ask questions. I want to help our buyers, our sellers get the most for their units. It only helps everybody, which is
Right.
pretty cool.
And you're right, like he can offer that guidance, like in terms of what the contractors were able to do or not able to do.
Right.
And it's a whole other element when you're working in a building that requires elevators as opposed to someone setting up out front or in your garage or something. You don't have
Correct.
that luxury. So they're working around other obstacles that they've figured out at this point. And Derek can, certainly guide other people along those
And
lines.
from what I get from this, you've had personal interest in water place condos.
Yep.
in the residences condos, and also in the Carnegie Tower,
Correct.
which are the 3 luxury condos, the towers in Rhode Island. Is there another luxury condo tower we're forgetting
As far
about?
as towers, I don't think
I know
so.
that there's other
High
condos,
rise.
but I don't think towers.
No, I think you're right.
So you literally hit all 3, and you've got experience working in all 3, which is very unique.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So needless to say, when you're looking for any type of help, design help, sales help, anything at all, and you've got questions about these 3 towers, there is no other team in the state that specializes in all 3. So where do we plan on taking the Hogan Simpson group? What's the next step?
To be the go-to team for anything condo related in Rhode Island. I mean, regardless of location, we kind of feel like we have the whole state covered because there are 2 of us and because we know the market so well,
Right.
and can guide buyers and sellers alike.
And we can help them on both sides of the transaction. If they're coming from a house, if they want to go to a house, to the city, from the city, we can do both sides of it.
And even if it's not within Rhode Island, with our Engel Völkers network that's global, we can help people, point them in the right direction as to who to work with, where they're currently going, or where they are moving from. It doesn't matter. It's not just in state that we have the right people to turn to. It's all over.
5 continents.
Right.
It's pretty impressive. The network's insane. And we also have for our sellers, we've got people from Naples. We've got a shop there. We've got shops all over the place that are referring people over to you as well. So Pam, tell me about your most rewarding experience so far in real estate.
I don't know if I could name just one, because I personally feel like every transaction is a rewarding experience because, there are so many elements to make it come together that it always feels great, in the end. And I mean, obviously it feels great when you have, a record price per square foot that you get for a seller, or if you, got the best possible price and terms for a buyer, especially in this competitive market right now. I mean, all of that feels amazing. But I think at the end of the day, for me, it's just knowing that I did a good job for my clients, no matter how easy or difficult the transaction was, they're happy at the end of it. That's what my win is.
Every day is something new and exciting.
For sure, yeah.
And living in the building that I primarily work in, it's really nice to have people, to see the people that you've worked with, to know that they're happy to see me. I've provided them with good service. I've provided them with, if they bought one of my units, I'm proud of that unit. Everything I did in that unit was top notch, just like I feel like our service. Yeah. We're happy to see people that we've worked with. They're happy to see us. That's kind of a big deal. And, we want to keep it that way.
Sure.
Yeah, this is a relationship business. This isn't just us like, let's get the deal done, transaction. No, this is relationships. And it's always been that way. And I think that's what helped us connect, because we both see transactions the same way, where we look at it like it's about people, not about necessarily just getting the deal completed.
Correct.
Agreed. Yeah, there's a lot that goes into your brand and what you guys do and believe in, and that's what keeps coming across to me during this conversation. I appreciate that a lot. Guys, Rhode Island has over 500 brokerages. I think we're probably up to around 600 brokerages or so. Why did you choose to bring Hogan Simpson Group to Engel Völkers?
I actually didn't realize there were that many, first of all.
I didn't either.
Interesting. I had never heard of Engel Völkers until you mentioned it to me when I was on your team. And I, wanted to be along for the ride, because I like that there wasn't a presence in Rhode Island for Engel Völkers. So I love being on the ground level of that and helping establish the agency in Rhode Island. And anything that you and Joe are doing, whatever you touch turns to magic. So it's gold. So I wanted to be a part of it.
I didn't pay her to say
along
that.
for the ride. I'm on his coattails now.
No, I appreciate that. Now, Derek, you were with another brokerage.
Yep.
And you could have stayed at that brokerage, or you could have went to any of the other luxury brands here in Rhode Island. What attracted you, aside from working with Pamela, of course, What was it about Engel Völkers that you saw would benefit you, your clients?
It's such a cool image, and the shops are so beautiful. I'm such a aesthetic person. I love that image. I love every piece of marketing that I've ever seen from Engel and Völkers is literally perfect. The clean image, the perfect pictures, it just all works.
Yeah.
And the website is perfect. And because it's global, we're not just here in Rhode Island, we're everywhere, which is, I don't know how you could get that anywhere else.
I think it's just a brand to be proud to be a part of. I'm super happy to say that that's the company I represent.
When you're going on a listing appointment, do you find that, the tools, the marketing, all that stuff that you mentioned, do you find that gives you a leg up now with your clients? What else are you offering your clients that maybe the competition can't or just doesn't?
Yeah, without question. In fact, I think even not just listing appointment, but like trying to encourage Derek to come over to ENV. I mean, you were wowed by the marketing. I mean, there's like the video. What's the
video brochure?
Brochure. I almost said brochure. I'm like, is that right? The video brochure. I've never seen anything like that. No one else is doing that. The things that stand out. Excuse me, and they're just they're so nicely done, and it's just a nice presentation. No matter what you're showing them, it's top notch.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Good stuff, guys. So the distinctive marketing, I agree with that totally. Good. Thank you, guys. Appreciate being here and interviewing you, and look forward to seeing your growth just continue. It's been awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're very excited.
Where do people find more information about the Hogan Simpson Group?
So you can go to our website, hogansimpsongroup.evrealestate.com.
Awesome. Good stuff. And your phone numbers, everything's on there. They can contact you easily there.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Awesome, guys.
Feel free to reach out.
Keep crushing it.
Thank you so much.